Wake up, Lobos!
Wake up, Lobos! In this episode, we will be talking about all the places that we've traveled. Our hosts today are
Lila, Imani, Damien, Haley,
and Sydney.
and I'm Mr. Baker. To kick us off, let's start with Lila. Lila, tell me one place that you have traveled that you were excited about, or tell me kind of why you traveled there and what you thought about it when you got there.
So I traveled to Texas. So I traveled with a car. We were going to travel to Texas because we needed to pick up someone of part of our family. And it was amazing. It was like 15-hour drive or 13-hour, and it was like so long. I didn't know like where we're gonna go, so I packed up all my stuff. Then go with my mom, and it was amazing. And I was glad that I went to Texas for the first time.
Where in Texas did you go? What
So-
city do you know? Do you remember?
Like I passed Oklahoma. That's where I remember, and I think Kansas.
Okay. But do you remember what city? Did you go to, like Dallas or Houston or San Antonio, one of the big cities, or was it somewhere a little smaller?
I think it was like somewhere a little smaller.
Okay.
Probably.
Cool. Have any of you else been to Texas?
Yeah, I've been to Texas. I passed through it to get to Arizona because we were gonna go see the Grand Canyon.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've been to Texas once that I don't remember because I was like 2 years old, and then we drove through on the way to Arizona the same. Anyone else been to Texas? No.
I've been to
You've
Texas.
been to Texas? Oh, why did you go to Texas?
I went to Texas because I wanted to go see my sisters because they live way farther away than I do. Well, they live way far away. And we wanted to go to Texas to go see them. And I think I was 5 years old and I turned 6 there. And we went to a place where we ate, I think, dinner. And there was seafood everywhere. There was crab and there was shrimp and everything like that. It was really nice.
So it was right on the Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's run over to Amani. Amani, what's a place that you've been?
I've been to Belize.
Ooh, tell us about Belize.
It's very pretty, and the beaches when you go there are like none other than you've ever seen before.
Cool. For those of us who have never been to Belize, where is Belize?
Belize is in Central America, right next to Mexico, and I don't remember the other place.
Oh, very cool. Why do you go to Belize?
I always go there to see my family.
Oh, so you have family there?
Yeah.
Very cool. Has anyone else been to Belize? I know I've never been to Belize. No.
You should go. It's very pretty.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like a rainforest kind of tropical place, or is it?
Well, if you go into the islands like Kikoka and San Pedro, then yeah, you can see like a bunch of stuff. I collected seashells and dried up coral from the shore there.
Oh, very cool. Damien, tell me your favorite place you've ever been in your whole life.
I've been to. My favorite is Mexico because, like, where I live, well, like, there's a lot of mountains, and I live right on top of a hill, and I can see, like, everything there. And my house over there is way prettier than my house right here in Illinois. And I go there to see my family and my cousins because they live with my grandma.
Cool. How often do you get down to Mexico?
Well, I've been to
every year,
Mexico 2
or-
times, and I'm gonna start going every year.
Very cool. Have any of you been to Mexico?
I've been to Mexico before.
I've saw that before.
I almost crossed the border. I didn't get to cross the border. I don't know why we didn't cross the border, but I did see a lot of it. It's really pretty.
Cool.
I've only saw it.
You've probably
My
flown
view.
over it.
I did. Just to get to Belize, I had to fly over.
Cool. Haley, you've been to Mexico before?
Yeah.
Where at?
I went to Mexico City and Cancun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've been to kind of Mexico before. on a cruise, but I've never been to like real Mexico. This was like, the resort style Mexico. So that's pretty much the only experience I've had in Mexico. Haley, give us a place that you've been.
I've been to New York to see the Statue of Liberty.
Oh yeah,
Lucky.
I have been to New York a few times, and I've seen the Statue of Liberty as well. What else did you do when you were in New York?
We were on a ferry because we had to go on a boat to see the Statue of Liberty because it's like in an island.
Mhm.
And then we saw that we went there for my golden birthday, and my mom she it was supposed to be a surprise, but she always has a dock for a road trip, and she put the Statue of Liberty right in it, and I'm always let's just say I like to look at my mom's stuff. So I saw the Statue of Liberty.
So you're nosy, so you know it was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go to Ellis Island too?
Yeah, we went to the museum.
Okay, yeah, Ellis Island's pretty neat.
It was sad.
When you go in and you think about the number of people that passed through that place as they were coming from other countries, it's pretty wild. Statue of Liberty is really cool. So if you've never been out to New York, it's definitely like one of the bucket list items. Because you see it on TV and in the movies, and you've seen pictures of it, but until you're standing right next to it and you look up and you realize just how gigantic this thing is, you don't quite understand like the significance of having that giant thing as kind of the welcoming arm into the U.S. from that side. Sydney, where have you been?
I've been to Arizona and Ohio.
Those are two very different places.
Mhm.
Pick one and tell us what your favorite thing about it was.
Probably Arizona because I got to spend. I think we would stay there for about a week because we would go there over. I think it was after summer break we would have school, and then in 6th grade, there's gonna be a couple weeks of school, and then we're gonna have a break, and that's when I go.
So you're gonna go in the fall.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's when I go in Arizona, and me and
So
my
it won't
mom.
be 150 degrees. It'll
Yeah.
just be like 120 degrees.
Yeah. So then we could go there. The best part about Arizona, other than Ohio, is that I get to go in the pool a lot, and we get to see all the mountains, and the sunsets and sunrise is really pretty there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been to Arizona a few times now. I have my aunt and uncle have a house in Arizona, so we've gone and stayed with them, and just going and hiking through the mountains, and it's really really cool. It's a very different kind of vibe than we have up here in northern Illinois.
Mhm.
Right. I can tell you about a place I've been. Probably my favorite place in the world that I've ever been is Dublin, Ireland. So when this was probably about 15 years ago at this point, my family and I took a trip to Ireland and England, and we spent 4 days in Dublin, and it's just the feel in Ireland is just everybody's very laid back, everybody's very friendly. We took a train trip from Dublin, like the actual city, all the way down the coast to what's called the Cliffs of Moher. And if you've ever seen the movie The Princess Bride, that's where it takes place, some of it. But it's just these huge cliffs that look over the water, and you can hike through them, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Uh, Being there with people from all over the world riding on that train was really cool because we got to talk to people from all over the place. Our tour guide was like, if you picture a leprechaun, that was our tour guide. He was like, really short and really energetic, and he knew every single thing about every single thing you could possibly ask about Ireland. When he was guiding our tour, it was pretty amazing. He must have done this tour about 400 million times because he would be standing on the train going backwards, not looking out the windows, and he was pointing at things that we should be seeing out the windows. So he's like, he knew every single mile of that trip inside and out, and he gave us so much cool information. On the way, we stopped and we were able to walk through a castle, which was like, as a kid who grew up like reading King Arthur and loving the medieval type things, sword fights and fantasy and all that. That was like one of the coolest things. I have a picture of myself sitting in the throne. So that, yeah, Ireland. If there's one place, because I've been to quite a few places around the world, if there's one place I would go back to, it would be Dublin. Have any of you been outside of the country aside from Mexico? We said Belize.
I went to Canada.
You went to Canada. Tell us about where you went in Canada.
I went to Niagara Falls. I barely crossed the border.
Okay.
I saw the Niagara Falls on the New York side and
Toronto.
Canada.
Yes, it's Toronto. Yeah, I've been to Toronto also. Toronto's very much like Chicago. Like if you fell asleep in Chicago and woke up in Toronto and looked around, you might think you were still there. It's very, it's a little cleaner, but it's kind of Canada in general, right? So we'll loop back around. Anyone else have another place that they'd like to share? Where have you been?
So I went to Wisconsin like 2 times. So we went to Wisconsin Dells like when I was like 5 or 8 years old. And we were just like having fun there. We stayed the night. And like it was so fun, so entertained to be there playing with the water. And like it's fun to like splash my brother because it's kind of funny because like mostly you just like to splash people but not like all the time because sometimes it's gonna be rude, but it was just fun to go to Wisconsin Dells again like twice, and I wish to go back there again because it was fun.
Damien, you've been to Wisconsin Dells 300 or 400 times, right?
Yeah.
So since you've been there a lot, what is something that you like to do up there that never gets old?
So over there, like there's like a blue water slide and a red water slide. They go like, so it starts at the top and it goes straight down, and the blue one it starts at the top, you go straight down, and it's a loop de loop. So you go, and I got stuck, and they had to open the slide because. And then it was actually kind of scary. I mean,
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
That was messed up.
Yeah, they don't just send more kids down and hope that they knock you down.
And I also like going to the wave pool. And like there's a slide right next to the wave pool. It's like a big green slide. It goes out of a building of Wild Wilderness, and like when you go in there, it's like pitch black. And like one time, I almost flipped over with my cousins because like it went like this.
I went to New York.
Oh, you also went to? What did you do when you were in New York?
I went to see Niagara Falls.
Oh, so you northern New York, right?
Yeah.
Way up on the border. Yeah, I've been in Niagara Falls too. It's awesome. Did you go inside and see the falls from the other side?
I did that.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
really
cool.
cool. Because it's like you're inside like a little cave and just water coming
I
down
had
in
my
front of you. It's
glasses
really
and
neat.
They got wet.
yeah, they got
Oh.
really wet. I couldn't
They got
see
They
wet.
all fogged
anything.
up. That's really cool.
My mom had to tell me to take off my glasses because they
I
got
did
wet.
too.
Cool. Sydney, tell us about Ohio, the wonderful, exciting state of Ohio.
We went to, in my opinion, we went to the nice side of Ohio, and we saw my, not sure what she is, but she's my mom's cousin, and I don't know what she is to me.
Second cousin.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So we went there to see her, and we went to like a place that shows a whole lot of like planes and like what they do in planes, and like they showed a real life plane that like I think it crashed, but they built it back up to show like what it is.
Cool.
We stayed at home a good amount of the time, but then we went out a lot too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a couple years ago, one of my close friends from high school and I took a baseball road trip. So we drove from Chicago. We drove to Cincinnati, and we saw the Cubs play against Cincinnati. And then the next day, we drove to Cleveland, and we saw the White Sox play against Cleveland. So that was really cool. We also went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is really cool if you're a music fan. So that's pretty much the extent of my Ohio adventures, aside from driving through it many times, going to Florida, or
Oh my
our eighth
gosh.
graders used to go to Washington, D.C. and New York every year on a bus, so we drive through. That's something I may be putting out into the universe right now, so maybe by the time you're in eighth grade, I can make that happen. But we'll see.
I don't remember where we went through, but we went through to go back home, and it took forever. Like we went through basically like kind of like through a state.
Yeah, you have to drive through Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana, and it was so hard to get through. And like because by the time we left, we were like in the traffic. So when we got to Chicago, we were stuck, and it was so hard to get through. And then finally, when we got home, we just sat there forever. We were like, we don't want to get up anymore. We're fine. We don't need to get up.
Yeah, the closer you get to Chicago, the worse the traffic gets, right?
Mhm.
I know a couple of road trips we've taken when you drive through like Kansas and Nebraska. It is the most boring drive in the history of drives because you're driving through a whole bunch of nothing. Unless you like wheat and corn, it's not terribly exciting. All right, we're going to wrap this up with one question. If you could travel to anywhere in the world, where would you go? We'll start with Haley because she about jumped out of her chair.
I would want to go back to Disney World.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Cool. And do Harry Potter stuff?
That's in Universal Studios.
It's next door.
Wait, I went to both of those
You
ones.
went to both? Mm-hmm. Cool. Imani?
Japan.
Japan is on my list too. I'm worried about the language difference.
Don't worry.
And the culture, but yeah, that's on my list.
They have places where, like, you know those ramen shops that you see online where you can they have those little card thingies, and then you just put them on the thing, and then they get the food for you. Like, you don't have to speak Japanese.
Okay. I'd probably try and learn a little Japanese. Lila?
So, like, I would go to, like, Minnesota. I don't know why, but it just looks pretty in there.
A lot of lakes in Minnesota.
Yeah, I want to see how the lakes feel and how the
Mall of America.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Minnesota's too.
She wants to go shopping.
Yeah, I'll go shopping.
I want to go to Hawaii 100%.
Oh yeah, Hawaii is that's a
Hawaii,
place that I've never been.
I want to go there and like, but I don't know because like I don't like the ocean, so that's a big deal to go on an island. I like the ocean.
Surrounded by the ocean.
Yeah, but like I like the ocean. Just the things that are in the ocean scare me.
Like sharks.
Yeah, like sharks.
Then just stay on the shore. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
But then at the same time, I want to get in the water. But like, I don't want to
just sit by the shore like I do. Just sit by the shore like I do.
Just imagine you're just in a
You should go to Montana.
All I know is that I could never lay on my back.
You've never been in an ocean before?
No.
Cool.
Oh.
I've been in a lake.
Not in an ocean.
Not in an ocean.
Damon, if you go one place in the world, where would you go?
I would want to go back to Disneyland because one time I went there when I was like 5, and my dad, he tricked me into going into like this Jurassic Park ride. And
we've talked about this before.
And I was so scared, like at the end, and I was like very little, and I want to go back there to try it again to see if it's still scary.
Yeah, not to spoil it, but at the end there's a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex that pretty much yells in your face as you're going underneath it.
And like water sprays at you.
Right.
I'm half deaf at that point.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I have a list of places I'd like to go. But I think right now, like as we're speaking, top of my list is Iceland. I've had a couple of friends, people that I know who've been to Iceland, and they said it's just absolutely incredible. Like it's beautiful. The
Cold.
culture there. Well, yeah,
Cold.
it could be cold anywhere.
Yeah.
That's true. But I'll put on a parka and walk around. I'll go in the warmer months. But yeah, it's just some of the things that I've seen just from their pictures looks really incredible. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Wake Up Lobos. Thank you for listening, and until next time,
Wake up, Lobos!